And good evening, my beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Art Club Show. And this is the best art club show in East Africa. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode. I am your host for today, Val_Wanyoike, and I hope you've been doing good. It's been hot, guys. It's been hot as I don't know what, but then we are just trying to push it. I hope your week has been good. I hope you've had a lovely Saturday wherever it is that you're sitting at. I hope you're chilled. I hope you're comfortable, because I always have the best art news for you. And I also have a really lovely guest that I have for you here today, and I hope that you will be able to sit down, listen to us, get one or two things, enjoy art in all its different forms. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you right back.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, my lovely viewers. So remember that you can always watch the uncut, the unedited version of this show on YouTube. That is at GBS TV Africa. Remember, our socials are at GBS TV Africa. And you can also text us if you have any questions, if you have anything to ask, you can text us at 21144, and you'll surely have somebody to get back to you. So without further ado, I would love to take this opportunity to introduce our guest for today. He's really amazing. I've worked with him before. I've seen some of his works, which is really amazing, and I can't wait for him to tell us something about himself today. So thank you so much, Rashid.
Thank you so much
for being on the Art Club Show.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So please just introduce yourself for the people who do not know who you are.
All right.
Right over there at that camera.
My name is Franklin Rashid. I am from Malawi. I am a freelance filmmaker and online editor. I edit clients' work. I mostly get my works online. And I'm also a graphic designer and a photographer. And I'm a student at USIU, where I'm studying film right now.
Guys, You've seen how many things he has under his belt, yeah? He's not joking around. He's a filmmaker, he's an editor, he's a photographer, and I really want to work again with you soon, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much things in the school that we can capture.
Exactly, yeah.
So thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Appreciate it.
And before we continue, you've mentioned it, but for the people who are not always listening sometimes.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Where are you from?
I am from Malawi. I'm from a city called Blantyre, which is in the southern part of Malawi.
Blantyre?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds beautiful.
It's a really small city, smaller than Nairobi, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nairobi is super big, and there's so much going on. Whereby Blantyre is like the quiet version of Nairobi and the smaller version of Nairobi. It's a really great city, yeah.
So when you come here, you felt like it's a bit faster than
exactly, yeah. As soon as I land in Nairobi, there's that pressure that just comes about, like, whoa, the traffic, there's so much going on, so much people in town, traffic. And whereby Blantyre is like a really calm version of Nairobi, and it's less pressuring as compared to Nairobi, yeah.
Okay, so again, what do you study in school?
I am studying film.
Film.
Yeah, I was doing computer science for the past 3 years, but now I've just dropped out.
Tell us something about that, by the way. How can you all of a sudden, I know when people have studied, and if you're at your third year, it's very hard to drop off or just leave it and go to something else. How are you able to leave all that and move?
So going back in the background, I feel like most African parents right now want us to go for degrees that are well noted. For example, they want you to be doctors, they want you to do computer science, accounting. Lawyers. Exactly, yeah. So when I was applying to USIU, I told them I wanted to do either journalism or film, because that's something I really loved. Yeah. And they were like, you have to do computer science because that's something that has high value and people are making money out of it. And you can't really, they told me filmmaking is not something that's sustainable. So And then I got into university. My passion for filmmaking grew over time, and that's when I was like, enough is enough. I think this is not something I'm supposed to do. And I don't really regret the time that I spent studying computer science, but passion always wins, and it was always hard for me to balance passion and something that I'm studying in school.
That's true.
It takes so much courage. And
you were like, enough is enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I want to do whatever it is I came here to do.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. So
but it must have been, was it really hard? Did you have any clashes with your parents? Do you have any back and forth, like pull, like, no, this is what I want to do, and then they're like, no, this we should finish. Do you have any of that?
Exactly, yeah. So I've done computer science for 3 years. That's like 3 semesters every year. So every semester, it was us sitting down on the table and being like, okay, I don't feel like I have to do this anymore. And they were like, no, just give it a try. You're almost done. Go with it. And then I was like, I'm not really a science student because filmmaking is in the School of Arts and computer science is a science. So I'm an art student. Could I please do this? And it took time for me to convince them. So I started teaching myself filmmaking over YouTube, and I started working hard off it. Taking clients off it, making money off it. That's when I proved to them that this is something that I can live off and be sustainable over time. So that's when they got convinced.
Really wonderful.
Exactly, yeah.
Because again, whatever you came to study, USIU is very much known for like its journalism and film. So I can just imagine how you are pulled like to go to whatever it is that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because you're literally at the like center of where all this is really produced. And they offer such good education for people who are doing film and cinematics and all of that. So how was it like getting into it? Was it hard, like starting the transition from leaving your other course to like getting into?
Well, before I started film, when I was still doing computer science, I was so actively involved in so much media activities going on campus. I have done a couple of workshops with some talented photographers like Chienjo. We did a fashion photography workshop last semester, and I've designed too for example, USIU's events, Culture Week, all the tickets and all the advertising material that was used. I designed that, so I was really active in the media side of everything that was going on in USIU, and most of my friends were like film or journalism friends. So the transition has been pretty easy because I'm now enjoying the classes. I now have all the people who I need because I was friends with them before, since that was still my side. Of course I was doing computer science, but I hated every class that I was in. Every time I was like, what exactly am I doing here? So the transition has not been hard. It's one of the smooth transitions that I've ever had in anything that I've
You must be like really, really glad that you're able to do like what it is that you wanted to do. You know? Your mind just stays at ease. It's like everything is easier to do comparing to like being in a class. Maybe you're not even understanding half of what is being taught.
What is being taught, true, exactly.
So you got into photography too. What kind of photography do you do, and do you work like in school only with people in school, or do you also like work outside?
I mostly work outside. I've worked for the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Group in school. I've done a couple of, I've done so much photography work for them. I've done mini documentaries for them. I've also shot for the school, and I have some other freelance clients that I've worked for before. Most of them are online jobs that I take. For example, there's a high school in South Africa called African Leadership Academy, which I've edited for them too, online. So I take most of my work outside, and Instagram mostly. That's the main platform where people contact me for work. And I do music videos too, so I've done music videos for different people from my country mostly.
That's lovely. When did you start, at least before even coming maybe to school, did you have passion for photography before then and film?
It all started in 2020 when I was trying to figure out what to do.
Like what can I do in my life?
In university. And that's when I started teaching myself Photoshop, because I was doing posters for my friends. My friends would have like small shows, whatever, or let's say make music and they needed cover. So I was like, I think this is something I can do. So I started enjoying the process. And over time, that's when I realized people really make money out of graphic design. So before university, that's when I went on YouTube, started teaching myself the basics of graphic design and the standard now of graphic design. And over time, that's when I was like, okay, I've been using a lot of stock photos in my graphic design. I feel like if I can learn a bit of photography, that's when I can, I can diversify my skill base.
True.
And in 2020, the pandemic, everything closed down and stuff. So that's when I used that as an opportunity to learn, because I was most of the times indoors, and I had a friend who had a camera that I used to go borrow to learn practice. And then when I got to USIU, and in 2021, that's when I bought my first camera, and I started practicing little by little and stuff, teaching myself, over time. And that's when I decided to turn it into a profession, something that I do
now.
And, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's a journey. At least you can see from where you are to like the growth, to like the practice,
exactly,
to everything. Do you have a specific type of photography that you like doing?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So, both of my photography and filmmaking work, I'm trying to get into documentary filmmaking, because I love telling stories that are just out there. So I love, there was a time I was doing fashion photography, but I felt like it was not really my thing. I love documenting things that people haven't seen. That's part of our day-to-day lives. So I mostly do documentary filmmaking and candid photography that documents things that are going on. So that's the type of photography that I usually do.
That's really good. It's like there's a purpose to what you're doing, and it's like teaching people something.
Exactly, yeah, true.
Okay, okay. Has your photography like changed in any way ever since like you've begun it here? Do you feel like you've improved? Do you feel like in USIU, maybe you study in USIU? Yeah. Do you feel like the environment there is conducive for you to like keep learning, like practice, how different people like, you know, tell you things? We also have a lot of people who like assist with camera work and all of that. So how is that environment for you? Is it helping you grow?
Yeah. So the environment is really competent, and there are so many people who are doing photography. And at first, I was satisfied with my skill level, and I felt like I was a bit stagnant. And then as time went, as I got into the environment, I felt the pressure. So many people were so creative, and I was really inspired by them instead of competing or trying to be better than them. So I started interacting with some of the photographers that I knew who were doing photography. I started learning from them, and that's when I started improving, because I was surrounded by all of these people who were creative, and I was just trying to find my space too. So it has really improved after I got into the environment, into the USIU environment, because there's so many creative people that I look up to and who I work together with, and I learn so much from them too. So the environment has really been great,
conducive and great for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have something that you've ever captured and you're like, this is the best thing I've captured? Like, I really, really love this photo or this document. Tell us something about that. Like how was it for you that you captured something or you documented something and it turned out really, really nicely? Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to photography, I was in Rwanda a couple of months ago. Yeah. So before I went there, I saw a spot. I saw some photos on the internet. There is a place, there's a university called African Leadership University. So there is a mural, an artwork that's like on the wall. So I was like, okay, if I go to Rwanda, I know I'm doing something else, but I have to travel to this place because that's, I have to see this place exactly, for sure. So after I got there, I went to the mural and I had my camera with me and I took a couple of photos. I consider that some of my best work that I've taken before. And I've gotten those photos framed because the mural is so artistic, and I feel like I froze the moment that I was there appreciating the beauty, because photography is all about, documentary photography is all about freezing moments that were happening somewhere and taking them back to some other people for them to see. So that's one of my favorite photos that I've shot in my life. And there's also another photo that I shot back in Malawi. When I was traveling. It's an air photo. When I was on the plane, I took it on the window. Yeah. So it took back, it carries a lot of memories when I was a child. I grew up in a slum, and someday I never knew I was going to get on a plane before. Yeah. So that photo really tells a story to me, and it tells me so much about when I never thought I was going to be up the clouds someday. So it tells me that the sky is not only the limit. True. We can always achieve so much. And there's a documentary which I'm editing right now, which I shot. There's a group of people who are called art citizens. Yeah. In short, they call themselves artisans, which is a really great of people. So I documented. They make music. They live art basically. So I went there. I shot for 3 days, documenting what pretty much they do. So that's something I'm releasing pretty soon. So that's some of the work which I really love, that I'm proud of. The rest is just client work. For example, Mastercard Foundation, documentaries about the charity work they do and pretty much stuff they do. Yeah.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. I like that you're into like very, very different things here and there. It just really sharpens your mind up.
Yeah, true.
I know this is something that a lot of creatives go through. Do you ever come across these creative blocks in which you're like, okay, I want to capture this, but it's not really coming. I want to show this, but I don't feel like I had that momentum.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you have a creative block?
Well, there were moments when I really had a creative block, and I've been experiencing for so long. But I feel like I've found ways on how I can...
That's my next question.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you face your creative blocks? How do you go about them? How do you get back to who you are?
Yeah, for sure. So, so when it comes to the creative industry or being an artist, there's something that people always emphasize, that's find a niche, something that people know you of. And I don't really believe in finding a niche because when you find a niche, let's say there was times I used to do fashion photography. That was the reason why I stopped doing fashion photography. I felt like the process was so repetitive. Every time I know I have to get on set, there has to be a model, there has to be someone doing makeup, they have to dress them, whatever. And every time I have to go keep myself motivated, go on Instagram, look for new ideas, get inspired, whatever. And I felt like sometimes I could have shoots and I'm like, I don't know any new concepts that I have to do, or I'm going through a creative block where I don't even know anything new that I have to do on set, whatever. But now, that's when I decided to just be diverse and shoot pretty much everything that comes in my way. So that's why I went much into the documentary photography or documentary filmmaking, because there's always something new. You go to new places and there's just so much to experience, and I live art.
I know, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I feel like there's so much that hasn't been captured that's like pretty new. So if you find a niche, you get held up in that niche and you're always bound. But if you're pretty diverse in your skill set or in whatsoever you create, you do not really go through any creative block, because you don't have one thing that you do. Exactly, yeah.
So you feel like maybe getting out of only doing fashion photography and like cutting it into a lot of other things and having an open mind, it helps you more. You can do the same thing at least, or at least different things over time.
Exactly, yeah. Because when you have a niche, when you have something that you fixed in, it's a repetitive process every time. Yeah, that's what really hinders us creatives in like growing. Let's say I'm doing so much of let's say I've done event photography for a month.
Yeah.
Let's say every week I'm shooting something. There's times when I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Let me shoot a music video, because it's a different process. It's an art process, but it's different. And that way I'm not repeating anything that I've been doing. So it's like me taking a break from something while still doing art.
While still doing art.
Exactly, yeah.
I have a question in regards to that. And won't you ever get clients who are like, let's say if you don't have a niche, that means that you don't practice enough for that particular thing. Let's say if you're doing, let's just use this one that you don't really like much.
Okay,
let's say you're doing fashion photography. And you start doing, let's say, videos.
Exactly,
you know, other types of videos, maybe car racing videos. Won't there be some people who say that, okay, maybe you don't concentrate much on this, so it won't make you as good as somebody who just gives all their attention on this, rather than like doing two things? Wouldn't you feel like you're not becoming better in one thing?
Right, that's actually true. There's an advantage of you finding your niche. The advantage is that you really grow, because you have something, just one thing that you're focusing on, and you really improve over a short period of time, because that's just the only thing that you're practicing.
Yeah.
But there's just something about being diverse, which is you have so much places to fit in.
Yeah.
And I still love fashion photography. That's something that I still do till date.
Yeah.
And despite this slow growth of you just doing so much because you don't really have your attention drawn to one thing, I feel like if you're really dedicated to your work, if let's say I have a fashion shoot and I haven't done fashion shoot in a while, I'm always on YouTube. I'm always looking for so many ideas. In a short period of time, before the shoot, I'm ready, and I'm not really any nervous that I'm getting on shoot doing something that I haven't done in a while. So the short period of time that we have to learn, or let's say prior to a shoot, that's the time when you can really sit down and be like, I am going to get myself perfect at this again before the next shoot. So finding a niche is good, but being diverse is also good. Just make sure right before you get on set for something that you are shooting, stay creative. You know, go look for so much inspiration. Go on Pinterest, Instagram, look up to other people's work. In like a week or so prior to your shoot, you're back in that fashion photography mood as if it's your niche. So
true, right?
Exactly.
It just needs like to jumpstart some creative juices, and then
exactly. And with how there's so many people getting creative nowadays, Instagram and the internet, it's easy for you to jumpstart. So in 2 days you can jumpstart and get ready for something.
There's so much, what will we call it? Like so much, a lot of what people are doing right now that you can just get off the internet. Like if you want to know how to even sew or even like paint.
Exactly,
it's just a matter of getting on the internet and just, you know, there's already somebody with a tutorial ready to like have
ready
you.
for that, And with something that you said, like some other clients just want people who have a fixed niche for them to hire you.
Exactly. Because I thought about it. I'm like, there was this friend of mine. She's a designer, and she was looking like for fashion photographers. Because she's like, these fashion photographers is this way that they maybe you've been having a cycle of one type of photography.
Exactly,
So how we used to take fashion pictures 5 years ago is so different from how girls are taking like maybe like fashion pictures right now.
Exactly,
The angles, the lighting. I feel like people have known a lot more about lighting now.
True.
So you'd feel like you'd want that person who like really has it together in this thing.
Exactly,
But I feel like yours is better because you can cast like a wide net.
Exactly.
And as long as you can just practice on something, as you said, maybe a week before the shoot, you can still make it.
Exactly, And so you can have custom-made portfolios too for every work.
True.
Just depending on who exactly needs to see your
by the way, you can have custom portfolios.
You can have custom portfolios.
Like for your fashion photography.
Exactly,
For this, for that.
Like I'm building a website which I'm launching in two months from now.
Nice.
So it's going to have different sides based on what someone is looking for.
Just different things you offer in different styles.
Exactly, true.
I love that. Guys, please, just remember his face, or remember his face, remember his name, because he looks like he's out to get it, by the way.
True.
I love that momentum that you have. How do you practice? How do you make sure that you're getting better each and every day? Like what is it that you either take a hike, go for photography, because there's people who just go to nature and you capture things. Do you take a retreat with people? There's people who like go photographers retreat. Like what are the types of things that ensure that you keep getting better or sharpening your skill?
All right. So one thing is I put in hours.
Simply.
Exactly. Like every day, if you check my YouTube, there's YouTube for stats. If you go to the settings, right? I consume like 6 hours of YouTube every 24 hours, and that's just me watching different YouTubers and stuff. And for every creative, if you have a camera, it's always easy for you to practice, and smartphones have gotten better over time. In my free time, I always just go out with my camera and just shoot random stuff, you know, or every time when I'm just going to random places where I'm not really going to do any work, I just take my camera and shoot random stuff. And then when I get back, I'm always editing, trying to get inspired. I'm always looking up to different people. I've subscribed to so many online learning platforms, Skillshare, etc. So I'm always there trying to get perfect and practicing. So every chance that I get to practice, I'm always practicing. So
you're on it.
Exactly, So pretty much every day I spend 6+ hours just to, stay motivated, not edit specifically, or sometimes edit or shoot, but I just try to stay creative and
stay motivated, by the way.
Exactly, So, because every time you're consuming all of this online content, there has to be a break because you get, you get to this imposter syndrome where I think I'm not better because you've consumed so much. But I feel like you should use that as an advantage. That okay, I'm not better. What do? I have to become perfect. So.
That's nice.
Exactly,
I really appreciate that you find like different ways in which to make yourself better.
Exactly.
And I love that you've mentioned Skillshare.
Exactly.
Guys, if you don't know about Skillshare, go check it out. It's like one of the easiest way to like learn new things.
Learn something, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you're gonna go on a break and then we're gonna come back.
Exactly.
My dear watcher, listener, wherever you are, just keep tuned. I know that you've learned a lot from this exchange that we had right now. But keep tuned, listen on. Remember that you can watch the uncut, the unedited version of this on our GBS TV channel, that is at YouTube. You can also check out our social media at GBS TV. Remember, I am your host for today, Val Wanyoike, and we'll be back in a minute.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back, beautiful listener. I am your host, Val Wanyoike. It's such a pleasure to be here, such a pleasure to be taking you all through this creative art, whatever it is that we call it, by the way, the creative art space, art as a whole, the different people that I bring here, by the way, and we have this conversation about art and all of its, all of its goodness. So today we've had Rashid on our episode, and we've learned about a lot, by the way. He's right now starting off, and he's really, really good in photography and film. I've worked with him before, and he's just telling us how it is, by the way, and we were talking about the difference between Malawi and Kenya. Do you feel like there's a significant difference maybe in the workspace, like photographers in Malawi? How is it working there? Is it harder? Is it easier?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like here you're given more space, more?
I feel like there's a really big difference between the industry between Malawi and Kenya itself. Like, if we look at the film industry itself, there's a bunch of movies on Showmax and Netflix from Kenya, that is. And we only have like a few movies on Showmax and Netflix from Malawi, that is. So that really shows that the industry here is a few steps ahead.
Yeah.
And Kenya has access to a lot of things. For example, you can order gear online anywhere. It's going to get delivered at your doorstep.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And every time I'm going home, there's always photographers who are like, can you buy gear for us? We'll send you the money, whatever. So that's exactly. So gear is like easily accessible here. And there's so much competition. And competition is really good when there's so many people doing something at one place, because it leads about growth. You always want to be different, whatever. So there's great photographers in Kenya more than Malawi. There's some great photographers in Malawi too, but the competition is not as stiff as it is here. And there's just too many people doing really great stuff. Exactly, yeah. So I feel like Kenya has really been a great environment for me to grow as a creative independently, yeah.
Tell me, now, this is not the first question I should ask, but is it hard? Like, do you actually take like equipment for people? Because that would be so helpful, actually.
Exactly,
If where you're coming, and why don't they have like this order online? Like they don't have Amazon, AliExpress centers there?
They actually do. You can get something delivered, but
or it's more expensive.
It's a bit expensive, yeah, for sure. If you buy it from here, you save a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think just because Kenya is close to our country is landlocked, so it's not close to the whatever.
Water,
so
yeah.
I think things get easily delivered here.
Through shipping, by the way.
Through shipping, yeah, exactly, yeah. But if you're in Malawi and you get something shipped, let's say it's dropped in Kenya, you have to consider some other means of transport for it to get delivered in your country too.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly, yeah. And most of the stuff is ordered either here or in South Africa, and then it has to come to Malawi. So that's considering the transport cost, making it a little bit expensive because they know you have to buy it.
Yeah, you don't have option, you have to buy it.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it has really been a conducive environment for me just to have access to gear, buy stuff online, and just learn and be in the competitive environment. But Kenya has really great, the industry, the creative industry itself is prestigious. I know a lot of Kenyans don't really appreciate what they have because they haven't really traveled and experienced some other, for sure. But yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that, by the way, especially the part about appreciation.
Exactly.
You're right. There's people right now who I promise will not appreciate like the ability to get gear like the way you do. And especially if you think about it, like I've bought some few things for myself for my photography, and it is kind of affordable, by the way.
True.
Thinking about like you may be ordering from Malawi, whatever you'll need to pay, maybe I'll pay way less.
Yeah, exactly. That's really true.
You could get even like a whole tripod, ring light with the clickers and the whole
exactly,
for like $30.
For like $30.
Yeah, $35. So
exactly.
It's actually cheap.
Yeah,
thinking about it.
Exactly.
So that's good in that way that at least it's giving you space. You can get gear, you can practice, you can also help others, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Though I know it can be like so much.
Exactly,
like
sometimes. True.
Yeah, but that's also good that you're able to do that, that you found like such a space here.
Exactly,
And job-wise also, like how you get your job opportunities. Do you like get them more from here? Or do you get a lot of job opportunity when you go back to Malawi, or is it like mostly here?
Most of the jobs that I get are Nairobi-based jobs, like editing jobs, and most of them are referrals too. Let's say you're a client and I've really done some pretty good job for you. I always get a call from someone else like, I saw you did this for this person, could you do that for us too, whatever. So most of them are like referrals, and I get most of my work too from Instagram, just people going through my work and being like, we want to hire you. So there's a balance. I get some work from Malawi too. So
do you do reels?
Yeah, I also do reels. I've done a couple of reels for some other brands that I've worked with before. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So that's something too that I'm trying to embrace, because social media marketing now is a thing, and reels are something that's really trending. So if you're in the right space where your work is really good and you're whatever, so you just have to embrace that. So real soon, I am just going to focus on the feedback and reels because that's something that a lot of clients be asking for. Because if you do let's say product photography, they ask you, can you also do reels for our products too? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I also do reels. And
most of them right now, by the way, it goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand,
If you want to do like photos, will you do for us reels?
Yeah, will you do for us reels too? So it's always included.
That's really good. So
exactly,
I'm definitely gonna like take your contact and reach out to you.
Oh, okay, anytime,
and we can like do something else again, hopefully.
Exactly.
Guys, we are coming to the end of our show for right now, but then I would love to give Rashid an opportunity to just introduce himself, tell you where you might find him in his social media, or any projects that he might be doing, or any services that he offers that you would want. Please give you this opportunity at least to take yourself through that. Whatever you do, let them know so that maybe they can reach out to you, and also your social media.
Oh yeah, exactly. So if you in need of any work, that's photography, that's mostly product photography. If you need event photography, if you need fashion photography, and videos too for all of those kind of fields, I'm always available. If you need promotion videos, if you doing mini documentaries, or you'd like to document a project, or you need commercial videos or promotional videos, I'm always available. And my Instagram pages are Franklin the Designer, or Franklin the Photographer. That's on Instagram. And shoot me a DM. I always check my message request every day. So I'm always there, and always feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much, Rashid.
Welcome.
Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been good having this conversation. Thank you so much, Rashid, for coming to Art Club.
Appreciate it.
Welcome and welcome again. Yes. Guys, remember that you can reach out to me on my Instagram, that is at val_wanyoike. In case of any styling tips you need, styling hacks, styling services that you might need, I'm there for you. Here's a very good photographer that we have now, in case, guys, you need anything. Exactly. And now it can even be a tie. You come for me for styling and then go to him for photos.
Exactly, yeah.
Everything comes out okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember that you can watch the uncut, unedited version of this show on GBS TV Africa, that is on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and take care of yourself. Stay safe.